The chicken shortage, which has forced KFC to close hundreds of its outlets in the UK, is our next story. The fast food giant blaming teething problems with a new delivery contract for stopping fresh chicken getting to its restaurants.
Well, its workers are being encouraged to take holiday until the issue is sorted. Not easy, depending on what contract you're on. We're joined now by consumer expert Harry Wallop and celebrity chef and restaurant owner Aldo Zilli.
Morning.
Good morning. Have you ever run out of fish in your restaurant?
When I had a Zilli Fish, the fish restaurant, we were told that there was a shortage of cod, there was a shortage of monkfish sometimes, tuna, swordfish, but there's more than one fish in the sea, so we got by. Yeah. But fish and chip shops had a big crisis because, you know, the fried cod, they had to go to another fish like haddock. But you know, we did have a problem, but not as much, obviously, as this.
Harry,
This
isn't a problem because there is a shortage of chicken. There's plenty of chicken, and it's being kept somewhere.
Yeah.
The problem is it's not being delivered to the outlets.
Yeah, this is a real sign of how sort of complicated supply chains are in the food industry. There's plenty of chicken in Britain, and indeed they take some chicken from abroad. They've gone to this massive new warehouse, which is operated by DHL, and this is the problem. So KFC, trying to cut money, changed their suppliers, their logistics supplier last year from a company called Bidvest to DHL, who said it was going to be state-of-the-art. Well, it turns out it's absolute rubbish. And the contract changed last week. They had months to plan for it. And the chicken is stuck in the warehouse. And apparently...
But why? Because they haven't got enough deliveries? Because they haven't organised? I mean, what's
massive incompetence by DHL, from what I understand.
But incompetence about what?
Not enough drivers in place, not enough lorries in place, and then a crash on the M6 last week. You'd have thought you'd have contingencies in place for this. Caused a backlog, and they didn't have enough lorries and drivers in this big warehouse.
But when you have a chain of restaurants, you know, these things are quite normal. When you switch suppliers in a big supply chain, things break down, and it's going to take them maybe a week to sort it. But I would imagine by tomorrow everything will be back to normal, because overnight they've been working really hard. I feel sorry for the staff; they're not getting paid. I feel sorry for people that, you know, there's a mum crying that she can't get KFC chicken, which is a bit weird, but. You know, it's one of those things. They're getting a lot of exposure through this.
Yeah, but it's humiliating exposure, frankly, though, isn't it? Because people are taking the mickey. Kentucky Fried Chicken without the chicken is not a brand.
No.
And DHL without deliveries is not a good brand.
No.
What's happening to the chicken? I mean, if the chicken's being kept somewhere, there's only so long it can be kept for.
It's a very short shelf life chicken. I mean, we've seen pictures of chicken in the DHL warehouse, in a refrigerated warehouse, but it can only last there so long. You know, KFC turn over nearly £20 million a week, and they've had nearly a week of this causing problems for them. So one presumes most of that has gone down the drain. It's 14 million individual piece of chicken sold every week at KFC. They are enormous, and that's just not being sold.
Terrible waste. What about the staff, very briefly? Would they have some kind of, you know, genuine complaint against their employers that it really is not their fault?
Well, it isn't their fault, and KFC, to their credit, has said we will pay all our staff full pay while this goes on. But the problem is 8 out of 10 of all KFC restaurants are a franchise, and they're under no obligation to pay their staff in that way, and a lot of them on 0 hours contracts.
It's not a cheap franchise, is it?
No.
It's a very expensive franchise. You have to have like $1 million to $2 million in assets to go to a KFC. Yeah, so you know, people that are franchising KFC at the moment, you know, they're having a bit of a rough time.
Yeah, aren't they just? You think it'll get back to normal?
I think
today or tomorrow?
It already is. Myself.
I think they'll bounce back. You know, this is not a food poisoning crisis.
No.
There's no safety issue here. I think actually it does demonstrate that people are very fond of KFC.
Well, as you say, Aldo, that may play well
and
for them.
they'll make their money back in 24 hours with the PR.
Aldo Zilli, Harry Wallop, thanks very much indeed.